You know, Billy, one of the things I love about this time of the year is all the great concerts that are out there.
Yeah, you were just talking about a different one a couple of days ago.
Went and hung out. The Latter-day Saints did a concert here. That's moved on, but there's upcoming concerts.
Yeah, and you just did a school concert.
Yeah, last night.
Yeah,
that's right. I got
it was
one
great.
son with the trombone, one son with the French horn.
Which was fantastic. In fact, listeners, Jeff and Bill show, and this is for Devin as well. Jeff said it was a fantastic concert because he could actually identify what song they were playing.
Yeah, right.
That's important.
We're moving past the 7th, 8th grade squeak and squawks.
Yes, exactly. When you can recognize the songs, that is a big step forward for everybody.
You can celebrate the holidays with Symphony of the Rockies. From holiday sing-alongs to film music, classics, and family concerts, Symphony of the Rockies has you covered for all of your holiday festivities. You can bring friends and family to enjoy the sparkle of the season. And joining us now is the man himself. He's the conductor, Devin Patrick Hughes. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining the Jeff and Bill Show.
The man with the stick. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's great to see you, and it's great to meet you, Jeff. The last time I was on, it was just Bill and I doing a duet.
Yeah. This is now a triplet? No. There's something else.
Trio.
There you go. See, I'm not nearly as talented as you guys are. Now, Devin, tell us all about the Symphony of the Rockies and how people can be a part of this and what kind of music you're performing.
Well, we're here to make symphonic music accessible, whether it's classical music, pop music. We almost did a Rapper's Delight in our 80s mixtape concert just a few weeks ago. So we hit kind of all genres, and we want to make music accessible for people. We're in the schools, kind of picking up where school programs have been cut to just make sure that folks get to learn the trombone, the French horn, the violin, the piano, because we know even if somebody's not going to play an instrument their whole lives, we know just playing that instrument gives them those skills of perseverance, of camaraderie, of cooperation with other folks, and it gives them that drive to kind of succeed in anything and be a future leader. So we just think that everybody deserves to get access to music, and these upcoming concerts are exactly what you talked about. The holidays are my favorite time of year. We've got one sing-along discovery show for families. It's going to be all the holiday hits. And you get to sing with the orchestra and dance with the orchestra and kind of ring bells with the orchestra. And then December 20th is our Let It Glow Holiday Pops. This is, a mammoth concert with film music. It's got Vivaldi's Four Seasons. It's also got some sing-alongs, but then it's also got from Christmas overtures to Hanukkah festivals on the concert.
That's Devin Patrick Hughes. He's a symphony conductor with the Symphony of the Rockies, the Holly Jolly Family Concert, 2 and 4 p.m. Sunday, December 14th. At the Newman Center. I was just there. That's beautiful, by the way. That's a great place. And then the Let It Glow Holiday Pops, Saturday, December 20th, 7:30 to 9:30. That's at the Newman Center as well. That's at the DU, right? University of Denver?
Yeah. This is my favorite place to play. To me, it's basically the most beautiful, acoustically and aesthetically concert hall in Colorado. It's almost like an Italianate opera house. It's got all the partitions. You're going to get the best possible sound. We're doing our holiday pop shows there, and of course, the Rite of Spring on March 1st. So if people are really looking ahead, you can get tickets to Rite of Spring and Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto, which is one of the hardest piano concertos ever written for anybody.
That's Devin Patrick Hughes, Symphony conductor with the Symphony of the Rockies. Now, here's what I love. I was just down at the Newman Center this last week, and I saw a violin performance from someone trained at Juilliard. And it's such a level of expertise and beauty and lifetime devotion to watch somebody that's really talented with these instruments play on the stage. And when you have a symphony, you're seeing all levels of that, from the drums to the violins to the violas to trumpets and everything else that could come together. And so on one level, you get to see the beauty of a lifetime of devotion to an instrument, right? So that is cool in itself. But then, and this is what I think is great to teach kids, right, is is when it all comes together. Charlie Puth is doing a really good job of this, and he's, by the way, going to be performing at the Super Bowl, singing the national anthem. But showing the layering of music, like that's something that symphonies have on full display, is that the power and the beauty of the music comes in the layering of all these different instruments together. Tell us a little bit about that, Devin.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you get, you could have just one player, but the magic of the orchestra is you get, 80 players on the stage playing at the highest level, in their instrument, probably works tens of thousands of hours throughout their whole life, dedicated to their craft and keeping up their instrument, keeping up their technique, expanding their musicality. And when you put the orchestra together, that's why we play pop music equally with classical music. Like, for example, we got the Vivaldi piece, which is like 400 years old. But in it, Vivaldi actually writes in the score, okay, this is like the teeth chattering because it's the Four Seasons, it's winter. Okay, this is when you slip and fall down on the ice, So music is representing, just everyday things that we do. And then we go all the way to John Williams. We happen to be playing music from Hook, from Home Alone, and Harry Potter, like the Christmas scenes. And John Williams is describing, the same thing with music. So that's really, the purpose of what an orchestra can do. It goes all the way from a Mozart symphony to an evil galactic empire like in Star Wars. So you get all those different layers that you talked about, and you put all those folks together. And something like, when you talk about Star Wars or Harry Potter, this happens to be also very difficult music. Sometimes you hear, oh, it's just a pops concert and it's simple. But the Harry Potter, opening for the first violin, it's these like really fast 30-second notes, we call them. Like violinists will not show up, will not sign up for that concert when they see that on the show, because it's so hard. You have to start at a very slow tempo and work it up, and then something we call faking, which is exactly what it sounds. If you have a ton of notes, like sometimes if you just fake it and you kind of play the idea of it, you can get across pretty well to the audience. Even orchestras at the highest level are guilty of this every once in a while.
Yeah, unless you have perfect pitch, you're not going to notice that that's an F sharp and it shouldn't be.
That's Devin Patrick
We try
Hughes.
to distinguish between our Fs and F sharps, definitely.
Okay, good.
Devin's the symphony conductor with the Symphony of the Rockies. They've got a number of shows coming up. If you go to symphonyrockies.org, symphonyrockies.org. And I think this is important. Look, the Newman Center is beautiful. It's a afternoon, evening in a beautiful setting with highly esteemed music, musicians that have dedicated their lives to the craft. There's lots of opportunities to go see a movie, go to a sporting event, and just kind of show up. But I think there's something very cool and important to do as a parent or as a grandparent. Take your kids, dress up nice, go to a symphony, and elevate your experience. Watch the performers, watch the conductor, and watch them put together an evening. I think it elevates humanity, and it's important to go do that. And they're making it accessible. So if you've never been to a symphony of the Rockies, that's what they aim to do. Make this accessible, welcoming for people to really enjoy some of their holiday favorites. Now, Devin, I want to ask you personally about being a conductor. I feel like there's so few people that go into this line of work. How did you do it? What was the education like? How do you choose to become a symphony conductor?
Well, I started. I was a trombonist that was my first instrument, and then I also played piano. I played in jazz groups. I played in concert bands. I started playing in orchestra in college for the first time, and I was just so moved by composers like Brahms and Rachmaninoff. Playing in the orchestra, watching what the conductor does, like what the conductor doesn't do. The conductor, I learned that the conductor is the one person on the stage that actually doesn't make any sound, but you have to kind of move and influence and inspire all these, highly trained, highly skilled incredible musicians in front of you, so you can translate something to the audience. So I think the coolest part for me has been learning, about how to build the orchestra, like how to share music with kids to people in senior living communities who might not be able to get to our concerts to be able to go to them. And so I think one of the coolest parts and funnest developments that I've been fortunate to be part of is, as we kind of create accessibility for our community, we're creating what we call discovery shows, where we write the shows, we arrange the music, we compose songs to it, and kids can come in and they can experience anything from classical to film music to rock and roll. We a lot of times will arrange some of the most popular pop charts for orchestra, and that's fun to decide like who gets the voice part, which instrument. And so these are like shorter concerts where kids come, they come from buses, they come in buses from their schools, or we have family concerts like this holiday Holly Jolly concert where it's all sing-alongs, where it's just highly interactive. And we want like students, we have kids usually my daughter started coming when she was 6 months. But a good age to start is between like the ages of 1 and 2 to come to these curiosity and discovery concerts. And kids get to, they get to experience kind of the excitement of the orchestra. They get to call and response. There's a lot of participation. Sometimes they even get to conduct the orchestra. So for me, like being a conductor was really about, when I started, it was like there were gatekeepers. Like classical music was this, and I needed to be you need to wear a tuxedo, or you need to have taken a music appreciation class, or you need to know when to clap. So my goal has been kind of like, how do we get like outsiders in to the symphonic music party? And that's been the most inspiring aspect of being a conductor for me.
That's Devin Hughes, symphony conductor for the Symphony of the Rockies, joining Jeff and Bill live. I feel you, Devin, because as a kid, the hardest thing for me was at the symphony. It's like, shh, gotta be quiet. Like, but I'm a kid. Just come on.
Yeah,
okay, now you've got one of those discovery concerts you were just talking about at the Holly Jolly Family Holiday Discovery Concert coming up Sunday the 14th. They've got a 2 o'clock matinee. You've also got a 4 p.m. performance. Now, you were talking about a Discovery interactive concert. Talk to our audience about what they'll experience, because I love the idea of Jeff saying, hey, go, get a little dressed up. Now come out, and this is a great way to expose your kids to the joy of symphonic concerts, but it also is interactive. So you're not telling the kids, shh, for the next 2.5 hours. You have to be quiet, and I'll tell you when you get to clap. But whatever you do, don't pick your nose. It's not that. It's a thing where the kids and the families are there. So talk to the families that are in our audience. What are they going to get at that Holiday Discovery concert? What does it mean by interactive concert and symphonic performance?
Well, and a funny story about that, one of my first memories when I was bused to as a kid, probably I was 4 or 5 or maybe 5 or something. It was kindergarten, I think. And the conductor turned around and told the kid, shh. But we were so excited. And since I was trying to kind of help, the leadership, I guess, I was like trying to help him shush the kids. So now I'm doing the opposite. But these discovery concerts are usually like, we will have to send out the song and the dance to the kids before, so they can kind of practice, because they're going to be interacting. They're going to be part of the show. Like, we wouldn't, like, for us to just be playing on stage without them, it wouldn't make any sense, because they are an integral part of the show. But at this Holly Jolly on December 14th, we don't need to send any of the songs out, because it is all like the most popular, like Deck the Halls, Winter Wonderland. We've got the Dreidel song. We've got Feliz Navidad. And we arrange all of these for our kind of little brass and strings ensemble. And all the kids get to sing along. We've got new this year, Santa Claus is coming to town, Little Drummer Boy. And basically the whole show, people are tired after the show, because you don't get to sit the entire show. You have to stand, and you're singing with us, and you are the chorus, and you have the word. And you'd be surprised at some of these second and third verses, like on Jingle Bells, like some of the esoteric verses that nobody ever gets to sing. So you actually will learn a little something about even some songs that some folks may think that they really know well.
See, that is cool. That is Devin Hughes. He is the conductor, the symphony conductor at Symphony of the Rockies. This is why it's such a special event to take your kids out. You got to put this on the calendar for Sunday, December 14th, 2 o'clock matinee, 4 p.m. Show. You can get tickets online at their website. But this is important because as you heard Devin talk about it, this is not that stuffy old concert performance you're probably thinking of. This is a concert in the fullest sense of the word. When you go put down your tickets and you go see some other band that you really like, you're in the crowd, you're standing up, you and your friends are dancing, and what are you doing? You're singing along. Devin is bringing that experience to a symphonic orchestra. This is a game changer, especially if you want to expose your kids to this kind of music. There's no better way to get them excited about the idea of symphonic performances and let them understand the intricacies and the beauty contained in the music than getting them involved. This is just like a regular concert, except they're going to have to dress a little fancier. But you promise maybe you go get a treat or ice cream afterwards? This is a sell. This is absolutely fantastic. Now, Devin, earlier you talked about doing Rapper's Delight. Man, I'm telling you, you can throw down the Sugar Hill Gang. Okay, we're going to have to talk about that. But you also said the Rachmaninoff piece is one of the most difficult ones to perform. For those that are not real deep in as far as music theory, when they hear the Rachmaninoff, most of us are exposed to it through old Gene Wilder on, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But what is difficult specifically about the Rachmaninoff piece?
Well, with this particular piece, it's February 28th is the concert. It's called Rite and Rock, The Rite of Spring and Rachmaninoff's Third Piano Concerto. And I'll preface this by saying Rite of Spring was so controversial in 1913 when it was performed for the first time and so dissonant and the rhythm so difficult to follow that there was a fight in the concert. The people in the concert were yelling so much at the orchestra, at the dancers on stage, because it was a ballet, that the dancers could not hear the orchestra. And, people had bloody noses. They had to call the police. People were taken away in the ambulance. So we do not try to reenact that, of course. But for the pair on that, the Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto, Rachmaninoff was a pianist, but also a composer and conductor. So he also happened to be like 6'6", so his hands were like twice the size of mine. So he wrote these piano concertos for himself. So he could reach all the leaps and everything and make all the runs and get all the notes under one hand. But for any kind of normal-sized human pianist, to be able to do this, and it's his third piano concerto. He's pushing the boundaries of what is even possible pianistically, and it's thousands of notes, probably tens of thousands of notes. Sometimes I think there's 500 notes over the course of a couple of seconds that the pianist has to play. So it's just if you get a chance to listen to it, it was also made famous in the movie Shine in like the 1990s. But you can just kind of hear all these notes going through. And then on top of that, the orchestra has to follow the pianist. So whatever kind of rhythmic turns or changes in tempo, changes in speed the pianist makes, I have to be right with, as the conductor, I have to be right with the pianist. So I have to know exactly where he's going to go. And I have to kind of preempt it. Like you have to think ahead. That's because sound takes time to travel across the stage. And so I have to translate what the pianist is doing, and then the orchestra has to respond to that. They're partially listening to the pianist, partially trusting where I am. So it just makes it, when you see it come together, you don't always think about all the things that have to go in behind it just to make all those pieces come together.
Oh, that is fantastic.
I'm excited
to see it. I want to see it now.
You can see the depth there. That's Devin Patrick Hughes, symphony conductor with Symphony of the Rockies. Go to symphonyrockies.org, symphonyrockies.org to check out the holiday events they have coming up. And also, if you're part of Colorado Gives Day, you can support them. Symphony of the Rockies at coloradogives.org. Support them in the great work that they're doing.
Yeah.
All right.
If any of you, one thing.
Go ahead.
If any of you are out there and you've said, these kids and their crappy music, here's how you change that. Don't support Symphony of the Rockies. They're doing the good music, and they're doing it the old school way. So if you complain about what your kids are listening to, throw some money down on Colorado Gives Day toward the Symphony. It helps them out.
Devin, last question. I've got an 8th grader that plays the trombone I've got a 7th grader that plays the French horn. I have a 10th grader that plays the saxophone. Lots of horns all the time going on in the family. What's your advice to a young musician out there?
It's just, play every style. I mean, I feel like that's one of the errors in the past that maybe orchestras have made, like thinking that, this music is better than other music. But I think there's good music and bad music, like all genres, right? The Bohemian Rhapsody, we played that 3 weeks ago, arranged for orchestra. It's one of the greatest pieces ever written, right? Like John Williams' E.T., like that score, like the last scene where the bike lifts off and they're running away from the authorities. Steven Spielberg recut that because John Williams' music was so great. Usually you say, tell the composer, cut this, cut that. But in this case, Steven Spielberg said, I'm going to recut the film because I'm not going to mess with what you're doing with this music is just brilliant. So I think it's trying all. If you're playing in one genre, if they're playing in jazz or they're playing in symphonic band, try another genre. Try some Beethoven, try some Beyonce, try some Taylor. There's so many great melodies out there. If you have a melody, say you have Christmas songs, like say Jingle Bells, play that and then play it in every key. Play it by ear and then take it to E flat major, then take it to A flat major, then take it to D flat major. So simple songs, kind of training your ear to be able to so without the sheet music, just taking the tunes, and maybe in a few years they can go out and make some money playing Christmas music like on the streets. I would say that's the main thing, is just try and experience as much music as you possibly can. Play every day. And I don't say practice, because when you say practice, it's kind of like, I have to do that. You play, you experiment every day with your instrument, and just go to as much live music as possible. That's why we make the orchestra in so many different forms, from Newman Center to playing in a church, to playing at Breckenridge Brewery over the summer, to playing at Centennial Amphitheater. Is because we want all folks, and in a family setting, because most of these are family concerts where adults, the adults remember watching Home Alone and enjoying that music, and the kids get to experience that for the first time. I would say just experience music in as many different forms you can with as many different people as possible.
Devin Patrick Hughes, sure appreciate your time today. You're doing great work with the Symphony of the Rockies. My son had his concert last night, his Christmas concert, and I saw him up there talking to his conductor, his band instructor, and they seemed very worried, very concerned. He was the trombone player, and he had stepped off the spit valve on his trombone arm. And he was worried about that, trying to adjust that. Wow. Those conductors, they got to fix it all right there. Devin Patrick Hughes, I sure appreciate your time. Thank you so much today.
Yeah, it was nice to see you again, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Great to be with you.
Likewise.
Happy Christmas if you don't see it.
I'm going to go check those out. I think my kids would love those concerts.
Dude, They've got
Sunday, December 14th, the Holly Jolly Family Holiday Discovery Concert, 2 o'clock and 4 p.m. And then on the... I don't have the date here.
Oh, no,
I just
don't have
lost
the date
it.
either. Yeah,
yeah.
The date as well.
Let It Glow
Let It Glow
Holiday
Pops,
Spectacular.
That one looks like a lot of fun.
Let me just pull that up on my phone.
Yeah, the Holly Jolly one. That's fantastic. That's coming up Sunday, December 14th. Again, it's going to be a bite-size type of symphonic performance that is going to be completely and totally interactive. It's just like going to the concert. If you've taken your kids, or you've been dragged because your kids want to go see Bluey, the Wiggles, or something like that, this is a lot more fun. The music's better. People aren't wearing giant costumes, but the kids get to get up and dance and sing just like they would in the audience. So it's really, really cool.
The big holiday pops on December 20th, 7:30 to 9:30 at symphonyrockies.org. All right.
Yeah, and don't forget how much important symphonic music can be. In fact, we all know the Christmas song with Nat King Cole, the chestnuts roasting by the open fire type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, originally not done with strings. The first recording in 1944 was without strings, and they added it later because an arranger thought it would sound better, and that's when the song ended up taking off. It wasn't until they put the strings into it that it became a bigger deal.
When we come back, you're going to be shocked at how few burglaries are actually solved in Colorado each year. We'll give you the numbers on that and how one musician had to find his own instruments by chasing down Facebook Marketplace ads. All right, we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.